Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Follow Me. I'm lost. And today it's Sunday, so I'm going to have a very light episode because, hey, it's Sunday after all. We need to also take a rest sometimes from the worries, from trying to figure things out. Now, the last episode that I did yesterday, I mentioned about the importance of trying to figure out your hobby, what you're passionate about, but without making it a career. At least not yet. This episode is for you if you're very unhappy with your work or career at the right moment. So there are two things I always suggest my clients to do when they are in this position that they're thinking to change career or even industry or company, whatever it is, and is to write a list. Write a list on the left of the things you are good at, like skills, knowledge, experience, and on the right, what you're passionate about. And your great career might be sitting in the middle of those two. Let me explain you better. For example, you are a great accountant and you work for this company, but you have overgrown your company because you have changed. For now, you have realized that for you, environment is very important. You have kids, you want to leave a better world for them, but you're very good to do your job. So, what can you do? You can consider to go to work for a competitor company that is more green. Or, for example, you can work for a charity as an accountant. Or you can use your number skills to work for a hedge fund that does all funds regarding biodiversity and impact investing. I don't know, this kind of stuff. So I'm trying to say use your skills because that's what you're good at and translate them to somewhere else. Unless you're even fed up to do what you've done day in, day out for a long time, and maybe you just want to change everything. So, what it is the thing you're good at? Maybe you love talking to people, and I'm going to stick with this accountant example to make everything clearer, not to confuse you too much. If you love to speak with people, accountants usually don't speak much with people. Maybe you can consider to work for the human resource department of your company or some other company. Or maybe you can start to teach accounting, either online or for a school that helps people to get into this business. There are plenty of schools in all the world and online that help people to get ready for a profession. So if it's something you love to do is teaching, then that's a great tool where you can teach what you know, what you're good at. Why do I suggest you to stick to your guns? In the meaning that stick to what you're good at, because that will be the quickest way to change career. There are other ways for sure. You can go back to study, you can learn a new skill, you can learn a new language, whatever it is, of course you can. But it's going to take a bit longer. So if you are in a point where you want to change ASAP, the best thing is to be aware of what are your skills, what you're good at, what do people tell you're good at. And on the right, you are passionate about helping others or environmental or, I don't know, beautiful things. Now, for example, there are some jobs that you think everybody wants, but that's not the case. I'm going to give you a very clear example. I've listened to an episode of an interview, which is, I love that series. It's called, the podcast series is called My Wardrobe Malfunction. And in one of these episodes, the person, I can't recall the name, but it's very cute, and I suggest you to follow that podcast. It interviews very interesting people. And of course, it talks about their wardrobes. And it's funny. I highly suggest you to listen to it. Anyway, on one of these episodes, this interviewer, who I can't recall the name of the owner of this podcast series, interviews Dita Fonte. You know, she's a burlesque entertainer, and she also used to date Marilyn Manson. Anyway, Dita Fonte explains how she loves clothing and she loves to try things on, and for her everything is like a kind of sacred, basically. I can't recall if she used this term sacred, but she loves to change into different clothing and different styles, and that's very good because that's her way to work. Her work is to get changed many times, even during a one show. I've never seen her live. I would love to see her live, but I've seen some YouTube videos from her, and she's a great at what she does. But it's interesting that even in her private time, she enjoys trying things on. And for me, that would be super dreadful. I also don't understand how people change from their pajamas into home working clothes, and then in the evening they change into evening clothes, free time meaning. So they have 3 sets: pajamas, working from home clothes, and chill from home clothes. But on a rational level, I understand the clothing helps you to get a different mood. But for me, it would be so much work. It's like, oh my gosh. When I was heavily depressed, I struggled to get out from my pajamas, and so sometimes I went to sleep with my clothes on. Now the clothes I've been home all day. It was the pandemic, so it was not with nothing nasty from outside. But still, I was like, oh my gosh. And I know I'm not the only one. So if you're listening to this and you have done the same, I hear you, I feel you, I've been there. And but that was a bit dramatic example because I was heavily depressed and I was struggling with anxiety and stuff. This pandemic has been hard on so many of us. But enjoying to change your clothes and stuff on a daily basis, oh no. Sometimes I'm in the mood and I go to shops and I like to try a few things. But an hour and a half, 2 hours shopping, and then I get fed up. No more. And no, that's not for me, for example. So you might think that the job you want, everybody else wants it too, or there are many people that want it too, but that's not always the case. Sometimes people think they want to do a job because it looks cool or fancy or fun. But I've been studying also stand-up comedy because I thought, that's the coolest job in the world. You make people laugh. And then I studied to become one a few years ago, and it was a great experience. If I will go back, I will do it all over again. I trained with a top teacher in the UK, but the thing is, what I learned, how hard it is to become a stand-up comedy. First of all, if you can't deal with rejection, don't even try. That is a tough word. The feedback is immediate. And if you say a joke and it doesn't make anybody laugh and they boo you down the stage, that's tough. I'm listening to an audiobook from a comedian, an American comedian. And once I finish it, I will tell you a bit of her life. But let me tell you, this woman, she's funny, even if sometimes she's a bit too much in my opinion, but she is funny. And Ali Wong, that's her name. And Ali, let me tell you, in her book she tells how many times she has been rejected, booed down from the stage, but let me tell you this, she was determined to become a comedian. So she did a lot of things. If you're interested to listen to a story full of obstacles and she keeps going despite everything, that's a book I suggest you to read or listen. It was great to talk to you today, and I will be back soon with another episode. For now, have a great evening, day, week, whatever it is, whenever you're listening to this. Bye!